Welcome to the Fraud and Scam Forecast for 2022, presented by Health Advantage Credit Union. The purpose of this presentation is meant to provide awareness and education on scam and fraud trends as a prevention tool for our membership. It does not encompass all variations of scams and fraud, but it does go over quite a few items. We will not be addressing any fraud or scam scenarios specifically in relation to dispute handling. If you do have any questions on any product fraud or scam questions or concerns, please reach out to our member services representatives at any point in time, and we will be happy to review your situation. And in this presentation, we will discuss some products and services that we offer. You can always find more information on our website at healthadvantagecu.com. To first define what fraud and scam is, fraud is a broad term that encompasses scams and many other variations of criminal activity that can often result in financial loss to a victim, while a scam is more of a smaller scope within fraud. A scam is a dishonest scheme that can result in financial loss to a victim as well. The main difference, again, is this is specifically a dishonest scheme. Someone's trying to trick you, in a sense. The topics that we'll be reviewing is a little bit of an overview. Then we'll go into scam trends, prevention methods, restoration tips in the case that you ever do get involved in a scam, and then some solutions and tools that we have at Health Advantage that may help prevent scams and fraud. So why is it important to learn about scams and fraud? The scam and fraud environment, basically anyone can fall victim of a scam. This is due to the fact that there are lots of different scams out there that target different demographics. So some may focus on, a lot of times it's focused around age. So some scams might target the younger generation, and then some will focus on older generation. And it's just due to different points in life and what's relevant to those demographics. When COVID-19 hit in 2019, though, this is when scams and fraud really did ramp up in the online world, whether it's on mobile apps or just on the internet. There was a huge increase in fraud online, and we're still seeing the effects of that. And then when economic relief programs came out, again, the fraudsters were watching the news, and they took advantage and took note of those funds that were coming in and trying to take advantage through scams and fraud. They look out for what's popular or trending, and then they ramp up their fraud and scams focused on what is popular and trending. And then they also sometimes just use their tried and true scams, and sometimes we'll see pockets of those happening. So sometimes we won't see a scam for a while, and then all of a sudden it pops back up because it's taken some time off, and now people have forgotten it, and now we're going to try it again. And then technology, unfortunately, in this environment has created a multitude of avenues for fraudsters to target their victims. So it's really important to keep up to date on what's going on in the world, and then also just what the scams and fraud that is occurring in the world. Because the more that you know, the more you can keep educated and make sure that you know what's going on to be able to avoid scams and fraud. So listening to the news, what's trending that might relate to monetary topics. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Understanding or receiving alerts on scam and fraud trends. The Federal Trade Commission is a good place to get on a list of consumer alerts. Starting a conversation, talking to your friends and family members about their experience or what they've heard about scams and fraud, and just keeping an open line of communication, or even with your financial institution. Often people are embarrassed when they are scammed, but sharing your experiences will help save someone else from falling victim. Scammers and fraudsters, they prey on vulnerabilities. So if you have a lack of comfort with technology, maybe you have financial problems or debt, maybe you're just looking for ways to save. Prices are increasing right now, so any way to save is something that people are looking for. Maybe right now you're unemployed, or maybe you're simply looking for a sold out item online. Maybe you are a impulsive buyer, so maybe you weren't looking for something, but something came up online, an ad, and you're like, oh, that's exactly what I want, and you just go ahead and you make that purchase without necessarily knowing who you're making that purchase from. Click happy people. So this is if you're a person that likes to open up your emails or text messages, and whether or not you actually know where that email or text message was truly coming from, you might click on a link, and that can cause issues, whether your device gets compromised or they obtain sensitive information by asking you for a login and password. Politeness can be a vulnerability. Scammers love polite people because they don't want to be rude, so they just go along with what it is and they end up getting your money. In situations, especially with phone calls that might come in, they're hoping that you don't hang up. So if you don't recognize a caller, don't be afraid to pick up. Don't be afraid to hang up, not pick up. Or again, screen your calls and don't pick up the phone if you don't know the number. Loneliness. They prey on loneliness. So maybe it's a situation where they're trying to become your friend and then get money out of you that way by building that relationship with you. And it could be any other insecurities that you may have, or it could be a mental or physical disability. They will take advantage of any vulnerability that anyone has. They do not care. They just want to get that every last penny from you that they can. So now we'll go into some scam trends. So we'll first talk about communication channels. So basically, fraudsters, scammers, they use every communication channel that you use. So whether or not it's getting phone calls from unknown numbers that they're hoping that you pick up so then they can convince you to give them money, whatever the scam may be, which we will talk about a few of those. It might be a text message trying to pretend to be someone you know or a business you trust. It could be an email. Again, it could look like it's coming from someone you know or someone you trust. Online and social media. There could be fake websites and fake ads out there. Or again, someone trying to pretend to be someone you know or a business you trust. And sometimes a friend or a family member can be the person that is scamming you out of money. And then finally, and this is probably the least likely one, but it still does happen, is through the mail. So there are still scam mailers that go out that can end up in fraud or a scam. And then to just briefly touch on monetary channels. that fraudsters like to use and scammers. Gift cards is probably their number one. They ask you to go purchase gift cards and then send them a photo or give them the card number over the phone, and the PIN number, and then they'll drain that gift card as soon as you give that over to them, and then you're not going to see those funds again. Cryptocurrency, that's becoming more and more popular. They like to use that source because it's untraceable. Money transfer apps like Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, they like to use those because, again, those can be difficult ways of getting funds back. Wires and ACH, again, those are all electronic funds transfers that they like to use. Checks and money orders. Sometimes cash. That might happen more so in a friend or family member situation. However, sometimes they do tell you to take out cash and buy gift cards also. And then credit and debit cards. Those are sometimes used in, they request payment by credit and debit cards. So some of the trending scams that we'll briefly touch base on here are job scams, making money scams, student loan scams, relationship scams, money mule scams, imposter scams, and then online and social media. So for job scams are really taking advantage of the current state of the economy right now. So after COVID-19 happened, people started working remotely. So remote working has become very popular. So they are taking advantage of that popularity to try and put out fake jobs. And then some of us are just looking for supplemental income due to increasing prices. Or someone might just have difficulty finding a job, or there's limited job opportunities in their certain field, where there may be job postings out there that are fake job postings. And the job scams that are out there, a lot of times, they're either going to ask you to pay a fee in the promise of obtaining a high-paying job, or they will be potentially sending you a check and then requesting you to send them payment back to them. So one of the popular ones right now is mystery shopper scams. There are some legitimate mystery shopper jobs. However, they're not very prevalent. So most of what you're going to find out there is going to be scams. These scammers will often send you a check in the mail, and then they'll request you to go make these purchases for gift cards. And then they request you to send those gift cards or provide those gift card numbers to them. And then they'll send you another check to do more. They're hoping to get a few of these situations. Well, what ends up happening is that check ends up getting returned. You sent the fraudsters, the scammers, these gift cards. They've drained the gift cards, and then you end up potentially in the negative if you don't have enough funds to cover that check. So these ones are very harmful scams. Then another popular one that we've heard in the news is a fake LinkedIn cryptocurrency job. So cryptocurrency is a hot topic. It's going to continue to be a hot topic. So what's happening is people have a LinkedIn account. Maybe they're searching for a job. Maybe they're not. But they get a recruitment message from a fake cryptocurrency company, basically, that says maybe that this position is filling quickly, or apply now. And then they have a link, and they request you to click the link to apply, and then it downloads some sort of malware, ransomware, or some sort of code program that is then going to compromise your device and steal your sensitive information, whatever it is that they are after. So it's very important when you are looking for a job, or if you know someone that's looking for a job, to make sure that they are vetting the job and going to the company before applying. Maybe look at reviews. It's very important. And then just know that any job search platform that you use, no matter how reputable they are, there could always be these fake job ads out there. So again, doing your research before applying or clicking on any links. So on to making money scams. So fake prizes, sweepstakes, and lottery scams are still very popular. You may get a call, you might get an email, a text, a letter in the mail, or maybe even an ad pops up that you won a sweepstakes, lottery, or a prize. But the one catch is that you have to pay, or you have to give your account information in order to get the winnings. That is a huge red flag, and if you ever get into that situation, no matter how reputable they make it seem, this is a scam. And again, it's the other red flag, obviously, is that you've never entered this contest or this lottery or sweepstakes. But what they often do, which makes it easier to fall for, is they might say, so-and-so entered you, which may be someone you legitimately know. And they are trying to do that. So somehow they got that information on you that you are connected to this person, whether it's through your social media profile, where they saw your friends on Facebook, and your friends aren't set to private, or your social media page isn't set to private. So it could be that. So it's important to keep privacy settings on any social media, or again in general, being private with all your information. Investment scams. So usually someone's claiming to be able to teach you how to make a lot of money in a very quick and easy and low risk way. A lot of times this is something to do with real estate markets. Sometimes it's financial markets too. And they really get your attention with an infomercial or an online ad to encourage you to attend maybe a free event or watch some free introductory videos. But then you have to pay a hefty fee in order to get this coaching. And then at the end of the day, if you do fall for that, you find out after you've completed their program that it's not an easy, quick way to make the money, but they just made money from you. And then finally, something that's happening in the world also right now with cryptocurrency investment scams. Scammers are taking advantage of the fact that cryptocurrency is really popular right now. So there are a lot of fake platforms, fake cryptocurrency investment platforms out there. And what happens on these fake platforms are you're seeing amazing returns on your investments, like unreal returns, which then encourages you to put more funds to get more returns. But what happens is once you get up to that level where they're like, okay, they've invested enough, I'm just going to drain your account, and you have nothing. You end with nothing, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to deposit all your money, and they're just faking these high returns. They're making it look like you have a lot of money that you can just take out at any point in time. And then they just drain all of the money that you put in there, and you're down to zero. These are often found, these fake investment platforms. Usually they're on an ad or solicitation on social media like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or dating sites even. And this scam, Americans have lost over $1 billion to these crypto-related scams since January of 2021. So it is a big scam. So be very careful if you're looking into cryptocurrency to do your research. One last one I want to mention, because this is one that we have been seeing a lot, and it's very harmful, and it's affecting younger adults too. It's termed as card cracking. So what happens in this is there's, through social media, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, really any social media platform that allows for direct messages to be sent, they are getting a direct message that says, I have a way to make easy money. Let me know if you're interested. And it's usually someone from the local area that they're able to meet in person. What they ask them to do, and so maybe they feel, because it's someone that may be local, they might feel like, oh, I know you, or you're a real person. Or maybe it could be someone that they actually do know. And what they're asking them to do is they're asking them to provide their debit card number and the PIN number. Or they might be asking, and I should say, in addition, they may be asking for your online banking information. And the scammer then deposits with your debit card, and they don't even just ask for your debit card. They ask for your number. They ask for your physical debit card also. Because what the scammer then does is they'll deposit a fake check into your account via the ATM, or it could be remote deposit capture. And then they will withdraw as much funds, or you will withdraw as much funds as the financial institution allows, and they'll split that money between the scammer and the cardholder. And then later on, that check is returned, and the cardholder is going to end up being on the hook for those negative funds, because what this scam entails is it's trying to commit fraud against the financial institution. So the cardholder then tries to state that they've lost their card. But at the end of the day, because we are aware of this scam, they are now an accomplice in the scam, because they are aware of the full intention of the situation, and they know what is happening, unfortunately. So it's very important to talk to any young adults in your life, or be aware yourself that this is a scam, and it's a very harmful scam, because it does end up with the individual that is the cardholder acting in a crime as well. It does typically target 18 to 25-year-olds. However, it may target others as well. Student loan scams. So this has been in the news a lot. So we anticipate that there will be a lot of scams going around trying to take advantage of the loan forgiveness that's just come out, and the application for loan forgiveness. There's also been multiple payment pauses. And the latest pause is supposed to end at the end of December. So anyone with a student loan, or maybe even people without student loans, will probably be getting calls, texts, emails from someone that's pretending to either be your loan service provider or the Department of Education. And then they may attempt to scare you. Maybe once loan repayment starts up again, they might say that you're past due on your payment. Or they might attempt to offer a quicker solution to getting rid of your debt through this loan forgiveness. And again, just to reiterate, once those payments resume, there will likely be additional scams to try to take advantage of people having difficulty with paying their student loan debt. So if you do have any questions about student loans, go to your student loan service provider or go to studentaid.gov. And just to give you an example of what you may hear for student loan scams, I do have a recording of attempt of student loan scam.
Hello, this is Sarah Roberts from Student Loan Support. Our records indicate you are eligible for a loan forgiveness program but never completed the required documents. If you want to proceed with this application, we need to speak with you today, so please give us a call back at 888-511-2498 to secure your benefits. Thank you.
Relationship scams. So relationship scams are unfortunately still happening. So I have a quick video here from the Federal Trade Commission that illustrates quickly what a relationship scam does look like and typically entails.
Looking for love in all the right places? Like popular dating sites, mobile apps, and social networking sites? Ron seems like a perfect match for you. He's thoughtful and says he can't live without you. He says he's from the U.S. but works out of the country. He says he wants to visit but says he can't afford it. He asks you to send him money. Last month it was medical bills for his sick aunt. This month he needs money to fix his car. Next month, who knows? Ron wants your money. Don't send it. The person pretending to be Ron is a scammer. He'll tell you anything to get you to wire cash right away. He'll never run out of excuses. If an online love interest asks you for money, walk away, no matter how compelling the story.
So relationship scams, again, that's a very good, quick illustration. But what I like to stress about relationship scams is it's not always when someone is necessarily looking for a relationship. It can happen anywhere. So it's not just dating sites. It could be a social media site, and then someone just takes you by surprise, whether they just direct message you or they add you as a friend, and then they just start talking to you, and it just happens kind of what you feel like is naturally. Those types of situations occur. So I like to stress that it's not always someone that's looking for a relationship. It sometimes just happens. And they will say all the right things. They know what to say. They have all the same interests as you. They'll take care of you. That's really what they play on. And they are in it for the long haul. You might even feel as if you have gotten engaged to them. And you may have made all of your life's plans with them. And they could be talking to you for 6 months to a year before talking about money and having them you send them money. So then at that point you've built this relationship with them, so you're not necessarily suspecting them of being a scammer. And one other, the darker side of relationship scams is sextortion. So if they might send you photos, then ask you to send photos that you wouldn't supply to anyone else. And what happens is later on, whether or not you're saying, oh, I don't want to send you that money, they'll use that against you. And usually they'll have your contacts, whether it is because they met you on social media, so they saw your friends list, and they'll say, well, if you don't give me the money, we'll send this photo to this person, this person, this person. It could be family members, it could be friends, it could be coworkers. So that is one of the darkest parts of relationship scams that's extremely concerning, and at that point you definitely do want to go to the police to have help in handling the situation. And then just remembering and sharing that these scams, unfortunately, it's not usually just one individual scamming one individual. It's usually a network of people. And they are talking to hundreds, thousands of people to try and get this money. So that's why they can maybe play this situation for a long period of time, 6 months to 12 months, and then finally start asking for money, because this is their full-time job. In one case, not here, but in one case that I am aware of, and this is very typical of this scam. The people were in another country, and it was actually teenagers in a classroom that were being taught to commit this scam and to talk to these people and get them to send this money. And so it's important to understand that a lot of times, even though you may think it's a person, maybe it's just one person, it's usually a network of people, and you're not the only one being scammed in the situation. And now we're going to Money Mule. So I put this right after relationship scam because a lot of times relationship scams are also a type of money mule scam. So a money mule is someone who receives and moves money that originated with a victim or victims of fraud. So, and you can be in that whole situation where you're one of the victims. But because what happens in a relationship scam, sometimes they take money from you directly and they drain your account. But another part of that scam can also be saying that they're going to send you this money. It's not actually from them. It's never going to be a wire or a check in their name. It's actually going to be in someone else's name. And that person is usually being frauded as well, unknowingly. And then they usually request you then to send it to another person. It might not be right after you get the funds. They might say it's their payroll. They might say it's just because they love you so much. They want to give you money to take care of you. But then all of a sudden there is some sort of an event that happens, and this is why you need to transfer it. But again, it's not going to be to that person. It's going to be to this other person who they say maybe their aunt, their friend, their relative of some sort. And then you end up then sending the money to another victim within this situation until eventually they get it back to them eventually. And then and they try to make this all look legitimate. So at the end of the day, usually it ends up in a fake business account, and then that business then pays the fraudsters. And it looks like maybe they're working for this business and they're getting their payroll. And again, in these situations, the money mule situations, they often instruct the member or consumer on what to tell your financial institution if they ask questions to try to make it look legitimate. Of course, we're aware of the type of activity that happens in these situations, so though it might be difficult to get you on the same page after building up maybe a relationship with this person, Again, it's not all relationship scams, but this one's the most common. It is difficult to potentially get you on that same page, but they do give you a story, and then they basically have you relay that story to your financial institution. So it is difficult sometimes to get that activity to stop. Now on to imposter scams. So an imposter scam is simply a scammer that pretends to be a person or a business that you trust. They're using that trust to their benefit and in order to get your money. And they're really harmful scams because they're using that sense of trust. So then, if you do fall for one of these, it's hard to then trust any communication that comes from maybe a person or a business that you previously did trust. So it's harmful for that business. It's harmful for the person. And then it's an unending number of scams. I mean, they take advantage of any person, any company that they think they can get money out of. One of the big imposter scams is law enforcement. They usually make you feel like either you or someone, like a relative, is involved in breaking the law. And they usually use the telephone to contact you, but they may use email as well. And to try to make themselves look legitimate, they might even send you pictures of a real or a doctored law enforcement credentials to try and prove themselves. But just know that no law enforcement official is going to send you photographs of their credentials. And they're never going to demand any kind of payment. So I'm going to play a few different imposter scams that were pretty popular either a year ago or a couple years ago, but they're still relevant because there's still different versions of these that can happen, and it's just important. These ones were very harmful ones because, again, they were acting as businesses that you very much do trust.
Suspicious activities in your iCloud account, that your iCloud account has been breached. Before using any Apple device, please contact the Apple Support Advisor. Press 1 to connect with Apple Support Advisor. Press 2 to listen to this message again. Or if you wish to contact us later, please call us on our toll-free number, 208-262-0000. Thank you.
So that was an example of an Apple scam call. So next, another very common one has been Amazon. So we'll go ahead and listen to that one.
An unauthorized purchase of an iPhone XR 64 gigabytes for $749 is being ordered from your Amazon account. To cancel your order, or to connect with one of our customer support representatives, please press 1 or simply stay on the line. Please press 1 to connect with our customer support team.
And then the last one that I'm going to share with you is auto warranties. So this is a big one. They try to make you think that they might be from where you purchased your automobile, or that you've already had this service with them. So we'll take a listen to this one.
Hi there, this is Jessica calling in regards to your Volkswagen warranty. The warranty is up for renewal. I'd like to congratulate you on your $1,000 instant rebate and free maintenance and oil change package for being a loyal customer. Call me back at 888-206 to redeem now. Once again, that number was 888-206. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
And then going on to the next imposter scam, this comes in waves, the technology security scam. So basically what this is it could happen on any device. It could be a smartphone, it could be a tablet, it could be a computer. But basically what happens in this scam is you could get a call, you could get a text message, or you could just get a pop-up while you are searching on websites online. And it's going to say something like, suspicious activity has been detected on your computer, or a virus has been detected on your computer. And it will either have you click a link, or it will have you respond to a text message, and then they'll call you immediately, or it might give you a phone number to call. And it can look a lot more legitimate than this example that I have on the screen. It can look like it's coming directly from Microsoft. It can look like it's coming directly from Apple. It can look a lot more legitimate. These ones are extremely aggressive. They're usually very threatening, these people, especially once you've gotten into the scam, not necessarily initially, but later on, as if you do fall for this scam, they get more and more aggressive because they say that you owe them money if you're not paying them. They might even send you letters, and they will never stop calling. So a lot of times in these situations, you end up having to change your phone number. So these come in waves. Lately, we have not seen any situations of this, but these can be one of the ones that costs members the most. So just be very wary of any pop-ups. Know who your computer security system is through. Go directly to your security system in order to make sure that everything's okay, instead of clicking on any links, picking up any calls, or responding to any text messages. Consult with your computer security monitoring system directly. The other popular one that happens a lot are shipping texts. It could be looking like it's coming from FedEx. Again, a lot of times it has links. These can be extremely harmful because once you click that link, your device could become compromised, and then they can go in search of whatever sensitive information they may be looking for to maybe commit account takeover, find any financial information to get payment from, or it could be trying to obtain any usernames or passwords that might be associated with any accounts that you have. And then just to note again, there are so many imposter scams out there. We haven't even touched. We've touched maybe a small percentage here. So there can be imposter scams for your financial institution, including us. There could be ones that look like they are your friend or your family member. Could be a text, email, call. There's ones that can pose as money transfer apps, such as Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. Could be a healthcare provider that they're trying to pretend to be, a government agency like Social Security, IRS, or again, student aid, a utility provider, a phone provider, and then there's fake websites, social media, online ads. It's unending. And with phone calls specifically, they can even spoof numbers, so it looks like it's coming from the legitimate number that is your friend or your family member or your financial institution. It can look like it's coming from them. So if in the case you do get a call and something just seems off, don't be afraid to just hang up and say you'll call them back on the number that you have, that you know, because you can then call the official number that you know talk to someone and ask, "Oh, did you just call me?" And maybe they were. But it's always better to be safe than sorry if something just doesn't feel right. So, to go a little bit further into online and social media scams, there are about 2 billion websites out there. So, unfortunately, there is a ton of fake websites out there. And they attempt to trick you into thinking that they are a brand that you trust. So, a lot of times they'll copy a brand and they'll look almost like that brand's website address, just slightly different. Or they'll make an ad when you're searching for that website, and they'll come up at the top of the list and hope that you click on that ad, not realizing that it's not that website. And they can make them look extremely legitimate just by some good copy and pasting of photos. They can make it look really legitimate. And again, the URLs could be very similar, such as this example here. It could be that you're going to Macy's.com, but maybe Macy's has 2 S's. So it could be as simple as that it's that close to the real URL. For social media, any social media site that you use, there are ads that pop up. They pay to put these ads out there on your social media feeds. They target you, and they target products that you would likely be interested in. But a lot of times they'll take you to a fake website, or if you do purchase this product, it's a fake product and it doesn't exist, so you're never going to get the product. Sometimes it's a social media influencer that you might start following, but they sell a fake or a non-existent product, and you give them money, but you never get your product, and then later on, you get blocked from their site, so you can't even talk to them to dispute the charge, to try and get either that product or your money returned to you. Again, they usually use a certain method of payment that makes it hard to get that money back. And then just not that this is always a scam, but just a warning, free trials. Free trials are never free. If you end up putting your card number, expect to be charged. Whether it's just the shipping charge initially, at the end of the day, you're going to end up paying that full charge of that product, which is usually a very large amount. And unless you follow their full instructions, which tends to be canceling and returning that product to them within a very short window of time. Sometimes it's 7 to 10 business days that you need to cancel within. And again, a lot of times you have to send the product back. And another just warning with free trials is they are typically a subscription. So if you don't cancel and you continue to get the product, you're going to get those recurring charges until you cancel. Online and social media and the holiday shopping season. So holiday shopping is coming up or is already started, and it is the biggest time of the year for fraudsters. They are preying on you looking for those gifts that you're looking for, especially those ones that might be low in stock, out of stock, maybe even like you're just looking for a good deal on something that's normally a higher price gift item. They will try to, with social media ads, again, a lot of times they'll take you to an illegitimate website, or they will, you'll just purchase a product and it will never arrive. And they try to catch you, whether it's a website ad or a social media ad, they try to catch you with their extremely low prices for name brand or designer products. and the prices are literally unreal, meaning it is too good to be true. That is a big red flag. And sometimes on these fake websites or more illegitimate websites, you may purchase something, whether it's an ad or a website again, and you do end up receiving a product, but it may be completely different or very different from the description of what you did purchase. So be aware of that too when you're thinking about shopping on a new website that you've never used before. And just some additional scam trends that are happening in the area and around the world. People are stealing checks out of mailboxes and altering those checks to be paid to themselves, and then they're depositing those checks in ATMs to try to get those funds. There's also a scam that we know that's happening in this area. Again, it's probably happening around the world too. People are coming to your door, physically coming to your door, saying a relative is in trouble. They might be looking like they're an authoritative law enforcement type person, and then they request you to get them an official check, or they might request cash. It could be either one, and then they return to your house to get that payment. So you go to your financial institution and you get that money because you don't want your relative to be in trouble, and then they come back to collect that money. And I don't have the example of what exactly they say, but to know that these people do this for a living, they can be extremely convincing. So it's easy to say, oh, I would never fall for that, but in this situation, they know how to confuse someone. They know how to seem like legitimate when you might not have seen this type of a situation happen before, unfortunately. The other thing that we've heard happening is you might be legitimately selling an item online, and a purchaser of your item says, oh, can I Venmo the money? Can I send you money through Zelle? Can I pay you via PayPal? And you're like, oh yeah, I use PayPal. That's fine. And then they end up picking up the item, but these money transfer apps that they're saying have dispute rights. So what they do is they pick up that item. They do send you the money, and they pick up that item, but then later they put in a dispute saying they never received the item. And you likely don't have any proof that you sold this item, because typically, if you're not a business, you're not necessarily going to have that track record of the receipts or anything to say that you legitimately gave them this item and they paid for what they got. So then you get deducted. So now you don't have the item and you don't have the money. So beware of that when selling things online, especially through like social media. And then lastly, the one that we wanted to just talk about, mention is the posting of pets for sale. So there's a lot of fake ads out there for these really adorable puppies, and one of the biggest red flags is that the prices are extremely low. And also, a lot of times they will request to be paid in cryptocurrency. Not always, but a lot of times they are requesting to be paid in cryptocurrency. So if you're in the market for a pet, just beware. Be wary. So what are some Prevention methods. So how I categorize prevention methods is entirely avoiding scams, and then also a prevention method is being able to spot a scam so you don't fall for the scam if you come across one. So in avoiding a scam, the methods within this is to keep personal and financial information secure, ignoring calls, texts, emails, mail from unknown numbers, emails, or businesses, doing your research, having a trusted person to talk to, and then again, being able to spot a scam, because that is always helpful in the situation that you ever do get into contact with a scam. So when keeping personal and financial information secure, I always say it's important to limit the websites, businesses, and individuals that have access to your information. Making sure that you're not handing out your information where you don't need to be picky about the places that you use to do business with, because there are so many places out there, and there's so many fake places out there. So just making sure that you're aware of every place that you're putting out your personal information, whether it's financial or if it's just your personal information. To be aware, it's very easy to put your email address out, and it can be so harmful once people have your email address, because then they can pretend to be these people, or your information can be sold and someone else can pretend to be a person to try and commit these scams. And then using payment methods that provide encryption so that a business does not have your full card information. So if they do become compromised, they don't have your information for a fraudster to then get that information and potentially commit fraud with that financial information. And then always keeping your payment and personal information secure. So if you have any official records of your personal information or your physical payment cards or checks, making sure they're always in a secure location and locked up in certain circumstances for certain personal information, and then shredded if they're no longer in use or no longer needed, and it has personal identifying information, making sure you're disposing of that information so no one can physically find that information. Always keeping passwords private, never providing anyone with your passwords, especially devices, so phones, but websites also, and online banking especially, and using extremely secure passwords so that it's hard for someone, if they do get into your device, if your device does get compromised or they get a portion of your login information, it's hard to then hack into any accounts. And then keeping electronic devices up to date on the latest software can help you protect yourself against any sort of viruses or any sort of computer security or device security breaches. And then utilizing a trusted security monitoring system on your device that can always help spot anything that you otherwise wouldn't have known is happening on your device. But some of the things that do happen if your device is compromised is it starts running really slow. That is always a huge red flag if your device all of a sudden starts to run slow. And maybe the other day you clicked on a link or you clicked on an ad, and ever since it's started to run extremely slow, and you can barely do the things that you did just yesterday. And then finally, and this is not an exhaustive list, there are many more ways to secure your personal and financial information, But just one last one I want to leave you with is always using secure Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi that is in your home, that's password protected, that is secure Wi-Fi. However, if you're at a coffee shop, if you're at the grocery store, if you're at a hotel traveling, never use the free Wi-Fi, because that is not a secure network. And there are fraudsters out there that are looking at that traffic. They're looking at the back end of that traffic, and they can, if you log into your online banking, if you log into any number of sites, they can actually grab your full username and your full password a lot of times when you're using this free Wi-Fi. So they're after you there. So never use free Wi-Fi. Always use your data. If you're relying on data more, you might need to talk to your phone provider about getting unlimited data, just to be safe if you're traveling a lot, or if you don't have Wi-Fi at home, you might just need that extra, so that you don't have to rely on free Wi-Fi and cause yourself more issues financially. Ignoring calls, texts, emails, and mail from unknown senders or callers. If you are not expecting a communication from a business or individual, the rule of thumb is do not answer, open, or click on any links. If you're concerned based on the communication, call that business or go to that business's website directly by typing the web address in exactly as it should be, like Health Advantage, for example, healthadvantagecu.com. If you got an email from us, that might be something related to something that might be on our website, you could go directly to our website instead of clicking on any links. Or if it's something where it says we're trying to contact you because of suspicious activity on your account, or it's not specifically saying Health Advantage, but it's saying your financial institution is trying to contact you, and you do your banking with us, you could just call our number. We'll let you know if we're trying to reach out to you and get you to the right department that may be reaching out to you, or let you know that that is not us. So if you are not expecting a communication from us or any other business or individual, the rule of thumb again is do not answer, do not open or click on any links. If it's an email, if it's a text, and again, to just not respond blindly. So again, reach out, and it's better to be safe than sorry. And then making sure you're doing your research. So again, especially when it comes to anything online, again, there's almost 2 billion, if not 2 billion websites out there. There's over 3 million mobile apps out there on Google Play. There are over 2 million mobile apps on the Apple Store. So there are too many to count, and they're popping up, they're going down. So there's no way to know every single website or mobile app that you will ever come into contact with, unfortunately. So when you're doing your shopping, when you're looking at downloading a new application, make sure to look at the reviews, read the reviews, research the product, research the site extensively. Talk to your friends, family members. Do they use this site? Today, in today's world, it's easy to make a website that looks legitimate, and it's easy to even fake reviews too, unfortunately. So doing extensive research on those websites and making sure you're doing business with a trusted store. And again, looking at the URL. because a lot of times sites pretend to be a brand that you know and trust. So making sure you're looking at that web address in the top part of your web screen, whether you're on your phone, whether you're on your computer, whether you're on your tablet, making sure you're looking at the address. You can hover over a link before you even click on it too. So if you're doing, say you're doing a search through Google and you get a bunch of websites, you can always hover over to see what that URL is, to see if it's something that you recognize before clicking on it. And then having a trusted person, especially if maybe technology is not your comfort zone, having a trusted person to be able to talk about any type of scam or any type of fraud, any type of communication that you're getting that you're not certain of, just to be able to say, hey, is this legit? You know, and then reaching out to your financial institution, reach out to us if there's something that you're wondering about, especially when it comes to shopping online. And then lastly, we're going to talk about learning how to spot a scam and some signs on how you can spot a scam. So sign number 1, scammers often pretend to be from an organization or someone you know or trust. So that's a big red flag to look out for, is someone pretending to be someone from an organization or someone that you know. So it could be a friend or a family member too. And then they often try to say that there's a problem which they can fix, or there's a prize, or just an offer that is too good to be true. And then they try to pressure you to act immediately before you have the ability to think a lot of times. And that's how they really get you, is they try to get you to act so immediately that you don't have time to think about it, and you don't know until after you've maybe hung up the phone with them that, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Because they're making it seem urgent. And then they're going to ask you to pay in a specific way. Again, gift cards are a big red flag. No one legitimately should be requesting you to pay them in gift cards. Gift cards are gifts to someone that maybe for Christmas or a holiday, or maybe for a birthday or graduation. Gift cards are something that you gift to someone you know. You should never be paying anyone to fix anything, to give you any sort of winnings. No one. So again, it could also be cryptocurrency. It could be money transfer apps. It could be a check. If there's ever or someone sends you a check and they tell you to send a portion of money back to them, whether it is in the form of a check, a wire, whatever it may be, there's always a specific way that they will ask you to pay that doesn't quite fully make sense. And then let's just talk a little bit briefly about, if you have been scammed, what some things that you may end up having to do to restore yourself back into security. So if any of the scams that you were involved in happen to happen via the phone, you oftentimes do end up having to change your phone number, because they don't stop calling you. And even if you block their number, they change their number and they keep calling you. And in certain scams, they can be extremely threatening. Sometimes you need to change your account numbers. If you've provided card numbers, account numbers, you might need to change those in order to protect you financially going forward, to stop any transactions from occurring. then also possibly you may need to change passwords, or you may need to close an online account that you have. So through online banking, if you've given out your password and username to someone via your online banking, which you should never give out username and password, but if for some reason you have, or maybe your device was compromised and they were able to get that information, and you may need to change that. If you have a website that you keep your card information on, such as like Amazon, and somehow your Amazon account's been compromised, but maybe you no longer really use Amazon and you forgot you even had your card information on there, you might want to actually fully close that account and just, because you don't regularly use that account, and just making sure to close any online accounts that you have open that you don't use regularly. You may need to contact the credit bureaus if it involves your credit in any way, if they've obtained your social security number, and maybe they're affecting your credit. Maybe they've done account takeover on your credit card, or maybe they've opened a credit card or a line of credit or opened a loan by having all of your information through whatever scam method they used. So you may need to contact the credit bureaus and place a security alert or a credit freeze. You may need to contact, if you do have accounts with other financial institutions, you may need to contact them if your identity has been compromised, or if you may have had other financial institution information compromised, if you've given out other information from other financial institutions, like your card numbers or account numbers. And then filing a police report. You might need to, especially if it's happening locally, but filing a police report is always a good idea. And then you might want to also file a report with the Federal Trade Commission. This helps the Federal Trade Commission in trying to prevent these by taking everyone's reports and trying to collectively stop these situations from occurring. And then contacting your device manufacturer or your security provider. So on your computer, if your computer, your tablet, your phone, your smartphone, if those get compromised, you might need to reach out to them to put you back to, whether it's restoring to manufacturer, to the manufacturer's settings, or wiping your device. You may need to reach out to them to try and get you back to square one. You might need to, you might be better off in just getting a whole new device so that you don't have a compromised device. But either way, you will want to, if you feel that your device is compromised, you might want to reach out to the device manufacturer or your security provider. And you might need to contact other offices. It might be the Social Security Administration, because your Social Security number is being misused. It might be debt collectors that are after you for fraudulently taken out loans. Might be trying to clear criminal charges or bankruptcies. And then finally, in the most secure scam and fraud cases that involve identity theft, you might need to file a claim with your identity theft insurance provider to help potentially reimburse you for some of the costs that it takes to restore your identity. And we'll talk about a little bit about the service that we have that might be able to benefit you. So firstly, for our tools that we have at Health Advantage, our most newest and noteworthy is Secure Lock Equip. This is for credit and debit cards. And it's a security system that helps you 24/7. It works with your Health Advantage debit and credit cards. It does work for our cards only. It helps you track your debit and credit card transactions in real time, which is great. You don't have to actually go out to your online banking to see what's happening, and you get push notifications to tell you what is happening. You can get alerts for specific transactions, or you can do all transactions. I like the all transactions feature because it just keeps you up to date on what it is that you are spending your money on with your debit or your credit card. And it can also help you if something unusual starts occurring with your card. It helps you see that faster than having to either wait for your if you don't do online banking, waiting for your statement to come in the mail, or actually going out to your online banking to look at your transactions. So it makes it a lot easier to keep up with what's happening on your account. You can also place spending limits on yourself. If you really want to buckle down and say, I don't want to spend more than this amount for my debit card transactions, you can put a spending limit on yourself. You can also set location settings for in-store purchases. I think this is a great tool because what it helps with is basically how it works is if you have your card and say you're going to the grocery store, and you also have your device, your phone. Most people travel with your phone. So as long as your phone is in the same location as where you are making this purchase, it will allow you to make this purchase. However, say your card's stolen, say your card's lost, and maybe you're not aware quite yet, which you do want to contact us as soon as you are aware of the situation, and make sure that you do know where your card is at all times. However, if it just happened and you did not know that it happened, or maybe a family or friend, they took your card without you knowing, it will, and they go to a store, and again, it's a physical store, so online shopping, unfortunately, it's not going to be able to tell that, but for in-store, so they go to a store and they try to use your card. It will block them from using your card because your phone, your device that you have Secure Lock Equip on isn't with that card, and it will deny that charge. So that is one of the great features of the location services. And another scenario that it might help you with is when you're traveling. It can help authenticate you that you are traveling. Again, always contacting us is always a good idea when you are traveling, especially if you're traveling out of the country. But if you are just domestically traveling within the United States, this can definitely help you. Because it will authenticate that your device and your card are there, and that transaction, typically it should go through. And then just one other thing that it would help prevent also if there was ever a counterfeit card situation. Now that we have chips and everything's chip reader, we don't see counterfeit cards happening as much, but it would also help prevent in that situation if that were to ever occur. But again, if you do leave your phone at home and you do have to do an in-store purchase, it would deny you. So it's also a caution, but most people do travel with your phones. You can't go anywhere without them. So it's a really great feature. The other situation that you can control is allowing only certain merchants. So if you want to be very conservative on what type of merchants you want to spend money on with your debit or your credit card, you can lock down all other merchants. So say you never use your credit card for online shopping, you could potentially lock down online shopping. Now, just a word of caution on this feature. Some merchants, though you might think come through a certain category, they may come through a different category. So this is something that you can definitely play with, but just a word of caution. You might see some denials that you aren't expecting also. So it's a great feature, but a caution to be careful with this one, especially if you're concerned about getting denied. You can always turn it off, and it is a real-time situation. So it's a pretty quick turnaround if you decide, oh, never mind, I don't want this. I'm going to turn this back off. So it's pretty much instant. And then lastly, you can, if you start seeing some abnormal activity and we haven't already contacted you, you can block your debit or credit card and then reach out to us as soon as you are able to, our next business day, and just talk to us about what you're seeing and if it is actually something that's abnormal or what's happening with your card. And you can find more information and where to download on our website also. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about ID Protect. ID Protect comes with accounts that have individual accounts with premium checking. So it automatically comes if you have premium checking, and it only comes with our premium checking. I say to take full advantage of this product, you should register and activate ID Protect. It doesn't mean that you don't get you don't get benefits without registering in activating your account with ID Protect, but to really take full advantage, I would definitely suggest registering and activating your account. It comes with credit report monitoring and automated alerts with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. It tracks your credit score, so if you're trying to build your credit, it's a great tool to use for that, to see where you're at. And then it also has identity monitoring on more than 1,000 databases and public records that is monitoring for suspicious activity. And then another big thing is identity theft expense reimbursement. So if you got into a situation where identity theft has occurred, there's up to $10,000 for to help recover your identity. Again, it's not necessarily going to cover for any sort of monetary like loans or anything, but it's going to help cover the costs, the expenses that happen due to the activities that have to occur to recover identity. And then it does only cost $2.95. So this is a very low costing product, and it's a monthly fee, and it's deducted automatically from your premium checking. And then if you don't have premium checking, or maybe you've never registered for ID Protect, and you do have premium checking, to get the full details of how to register or how to change to premium checking to see if you qualify for premium checking also, you can speak to a member service representative or financial services. And then another service that we do provide are digital wallets. So our debit and our credit cards do work with Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Google Pay. And some of the benefits for using digital wallets is it provides encryption for in-store purchases for any merchants that do allow Apple, Samsung, or Google Pay. It allows that encryption. So, which the chip does too. However, sometimes if the terminal is malfunctioning, or maybe that chip is malfunctioning in that particular terminal, they still allow you to slide your card if it fails a certain amount of times. And then if you do swipe your card, that merchant now has your card information on file. And all of the card, the name and everything also. So it is still more, this is always going to be encrypted. And usually I've never seen malfunctions if someone offers these services. Not to say that there can't be, but I haven't seen malfunctions with using one of these wallets. So no matter what, you're going to be encrypted. And then with online purchases, a lot of times online purchases aren't encrypted. You're typing in all of your information. You're storing all your information on these websites. I always say use guest checkout if you are going to put your information in, but especially if you're not regularly using a website. But they could have basically your card information and all of your information if you're not using an encrypted payment method. So again, not all websites use these digital wallets, but it's a very safe and secure form of payment. And it's quick and it's easy also. But again, if you are going to use digital wallets, make sure and those are on your smartphone device that you use those digital wallets. Your device usually already has the digital wallet. You just have to load your cards. Just make sure that your phone is password protected and no one else has access to your phone. If someone has access to your phone, if someone knows your password, if it's not password protected, I do not suggest using digital wallets. But if your device is secure, you have a good, strong password, you have facial recognition set up, I would definitely suggest the use of digital wallets for the encryption purposes, for the quick and easy convenience of them. Again, we always have our phones in our hand when sometimes we put our grocery lists on our phones. When you get to the checkout, it's easy to just, with a click of a button and with your facial recognition to pay at the terminal. And you can find more information on our website on that. Under our credit card specifically, you can find more details on how to set this up and how it's used. Online and mobile banking. If you're not already taking advantage of our online and mobile banking, just know that you do have 24/7 access to your account through online and mobile banking. It does require a strong password and multi-factor authentication. And you can also set up facial recognition on the mobile app. It does allow you to access and view your pending transactions and account history. So you can always keep up to date on what's going in and coming out of your account. And just a couple other benefits is we do have mobile check deposit. And we do have bill pay as well, if those are items that you either like using or did not know that we had. And just a reminder, because scams often take advantage of people that are in financial need or have financial needs and maybe looking for that solution in what you think might be an easy way, we do have debt consolidation products that we can potentially help you with to either make one lower payment, maybe lower your interest, or just helping you manage your payments instead of having multiple payments, having one consolidated payment. We always are offering low rates on our balance transfer. So if you have a credit card that either maybe your 0% promotion is about to come up, but you still have a balance, to avoid that very high interest rate that the they are going to potentially charge you if you don't pay off that balance, or if you have a higher interest rate payment right now with a credit card company. We might be able to help you through our balance transfer and our credit card solution. Refinancing. Sometimes we can lower a rate for you if you qualify, whether it's an auto loan, a recreational vehicle, a mortgage, anything that you have out there. We might be able to refinance and get you either a lower rate or a lower payment, depending on all of the information that we receive from you. If you're having trouble with your credit, maybe you're having trouble with anyone lending money. So you're using maybe different situations that either are very costly or end up, again, in a scam or fraud. And then you're in a worse financial predicament. We have solutions to help try and repair or build that credit back up. And then sometimes you're just in a state of, you have these goals in life. And you might be at, depending on your stage in life, it might be different. And maybe you just can't picture how you're going to get there. And sometimes that could be helped by having a loan, a line of credit, like a credit card, or it could be simply us helping you with maybe budgeting so you can get to that goal. So maybe you want to go on vacation, maybe you want to buy that new car, maybe you want to be prepared to buy a house in a certain amount of years. Either way, we can have that discussion. Again, sometimes loan is a solution, sometimes budgeting is a solution, but we can sit down with you and talk through your goals and try to come up with a plan for you. And then just a reminder, with our credit cards, you do earn rewards on our credit cards. And then you can redeem those to either go towards your balance on your credit card, or you can they can go towards a purchase on our ScoreCard Rewards site. All of these situations, depending on what is relevant to you, our financial services representatives are great at helping you find the right solution for you. And any questions that you do have, do reach out to the email solutions@healthadvantagecu.com. Again, you can just call our general number, 989-791-7070. If your question is specific to a particular department, we will get you to that department and get you set up for a meeting with someone to help you with whatever it is that you need, whether it's more information on any of these products or services, or any questions on any scams that you or fraud schemes that you may come into contact with. And please share this information with relatives, with friends. Just keep the conversation going, because that is the best method of preventing someone from falling victim of a scam or fraud. So thank you so much for sticking with me through this presentation. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to assist.